here. First things first, Undisputed coming up at 9:30 sharp. Jenny Taft, good morning. What do you guys have on the show today?
Good morning, Jenna. Hey, guys. How you doing today? We got a lot to talk about on Undisputed. Do the Warriors need Kevin Durant back for the finals? And should the Cowboys be worried about Ezekiel Elliott's latest off-the-field incident? Plus, Kendrick Perkins and Rob Parker are in studio with us. Undisputed coming up next. Jenna, back to you.
All right, Jenny, thanks. Have a great show. We look forward to it. Time for us to go viral. Check out Kobe Bryant's 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, dropping buckets in a recent tournament. Kobe replied to this video and said, quote, she's working and getting better every day. Hashtag Team Mamba.
Man, we're pretty soon going to live in a NBA and WNBA world where 60% of the league is just kids of former players.
Yeah,
I mean, this is, with the Curry brothers, or maybe at the forefront of this, with Dell's generation. But Kobe's daughters, this is his, I think, his second oldest daughter, if I'm not mistaken. Might be his oldest, but she's outstanding from everything I was reading about this yesterday.
Great story. Cool. Great story. Good for her. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to play basketball if you got a court in your house.
Yeah. Of course.
Well, that's a good way to learn.
But now imagine if she got together years and years from now with, say, LeBron's son.
Let's not set up these.
Imagine the athlete they would have. See?
Yep, probably wouldn't be able to walk and chew gum.
Let's not.
It doesn't work out like that.
Man, they'd get buckets. Back to the Warriors.
Slow.
Trying to finish off the Blazers in Game 4.
Matchmaking, Jenna Wolf.
As many as 17 in this one.
At 9:31.
They come all the way back, up one with less than a minute to go in overtime. Draymond Green was from long there. He extended it to 4 o'clock, winding down. Portland was down 2. Dame couldn't get it done. That's the game. That's the series. Warriors go on to win 119-117. They are headed to the NBA Finals now for the 5th straight year. Here's star of the game, Steph Curry, after the win.
We've been here before and have been through a lot of different experiences, and you know, championship mentality showed down the stretch tonight, and just find a way to get it done in advance.
I hope it doesn't go unnoticed or underrated. You know, 5 straight finals hasn't been done since the 60s, since Bill Russell's Celtics. Hasn't been done for a reason. It's really, really difficult. And so I just can't say enough about the competitive desire of the group of players that we have here and the culture that they've built together.
Careers aren't that long. If you can get 10 out of it, you're lucky. And so, you know, to be the 5 straight finals, I don't even know what to say about it. You know, this is what you play for. This is our goal every year, and to get here 5 straight times is special.
We don't take anything for granted. Every single night, especially when you get to the playoffs, there's a hunger about us, and whether we win or lose, you know, we take pride in how we play. And you know, 5 straight finals and the historic nature of what that is kind of crazy to think about. We want to enjoy it. We know 4 more wins defines your season, winning a championship, so got to stay locked in.
Hey, I get the hunger, but they seem to be a little hungrier the last 4 games or so than they have been for the last stretch. Nick, how incredible is this Warriors run of 5 straight NBA finals?
Steph's right, that it'll feel different if they don't finish it off. But
absolutely, yes.
Whether they finish it off or not, we should take today, this moment, to recognize the unprecedented nature of what they've done. Russell's Celtics made 10 straight. They also, for the first 9 of those, only had to win 1 round of the playoffs. There were only 8 teams in the league. It was a different NBA by any way, shape, and form. Different level of athletes, different number of teams, different amount of fatigue as far as how often you had to play in the postseason. We've never seen a team do this in the modern NBA era. I mean, we can show you the list of teams that have made it 4 straight or more. There's Russell Celtics. There's LeBron, who made it 8 himself, but 4 with one team, 4 with another. So he got, we saw the Heat breaking down. And then LeBron got supercharged with the Cavs, the Warriors. And then look at the 2 teams beneath them. Those are two of the greatest teams in NBA history. The Celtics at the peak of their powers. 3 straight league MVPs by Larry Bird. 3 years in a row. McHale, 6th man of the year. Then replaced by Bill Walton as 6th man of the year. Parrish, Dennis Johnson. And those Lakers teams that made it 4 straight times couldn't make it 5 straight. Now they made 7 out of 8, but couldn't make 5 in a row. They had still near his prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a top 5 player, and in his prime, Magic Johnson, a top 5 player. That's what the Warriors have done. And I don't think it's hyperbole to say we could go the rest of our lives and never see it happen again. You can be a 45-year-old basketball fan. You've never seen it happen. We have seen great teams stumble trying to go for their 4th straight. Jordan's Bulls, Jordan retired both times after they went to 3 in a row. Shaq and Kobe's Lakers, they got bounced around 2 when they were going for their 4th straight trip to the finals. The Pistons got swept in the conference finals when they were going for their 4th straight trip to the finals. See, the Warriors have now made it 5 straight. And this year, hey, Boogie got hurt in the 1st round. KD got hurt in the 2nd round. There was so much noise surrounding them from the first couple weeks of the season after KD and Draymond had their spat. And yet, Steph, Draymond, Clay, Iggy, until last night, showed up every single night, and that's why they're doing something no team has done in modern NBA history.
I think when you look at the 2 different components to it, the first 2 years before they get KD, they go to 2 finals. You've been like, were you surprised at that? No, weren't surprised at that. Steph was the MVP in the league. They lost that 2nd final to LeBron. They went out and retooled. Was franchised and got KD, then it went to a 3 more. In its totality, you're like, man, wow, no, this never really happened in our lifetime. But when you see how they put it together, it's not that surprising.
It's totally believable.
Yes, like it is. Most of these other stories, they're not believable of how they came together. How the Lakers with Kareem draft Magic Johnson.
Right.
How's that going to happen? That's not believable. But the way the Warriors have put it together, regardless if we like it or not, it's very, very believable. I just hope that, because we're in the moment, I just hope that we really appreciate it for what it is. And they changed basketball, how the game was going to be played, the analytics to it all, the concentration on the 3-point line, and they've done it being a great defensive team. So not only are they talented, not only do they have a system, but, man, when it comes down to it, when their jump shot's not going, they go grind it out on the defensive end, and that's what makes them so special, one of the iconic teams that we've ever seen.
And what should not be lost in this is the guy who I think has become the most underrated part of this entire era, and it's Steve Kerr. Because it is so hard to not get fatigued. It is so hard to not get sick of each other. Bands break up. There's so many people that could have continued success break up because the off the field or off the stage distractions get them. And what Steve Kerr has done, making sure the team's connective tissue stays in place, even when there is an external factor, which is the noise surrounding Durant, and their ability, to immediately transition. They were 2-2 with the Rockets. KD goes down late 3rd quarter. It took them a quarter break between the 3rd and 4th quarter of that series, of that game, Game 5, to go, okay, 2015, 2016 Warriors basketball, go. Draymond run point forward, Steph run around 1,000 screens, Clay do Clay things, and they haven't lost since. And that is, it's a testament to, as your point earlier, the organization, Steve Kerr, and of course, the Hall of Famers they have on the roster.
So this is what I thought their problem was during the season, is there were stretches of periods of time where they looked disillusioned. Like they were just going through the motions, going out there, and when all else failed, they changed who they were, and they relied a lot on Kevin Durant. He was giving you so many a night that it was easy to play that way. Then he goes down, and suddenly this team had momentum, almost, if you will. They had a reason to come back together again and fight for something that they weren't able to do before, or maybe even for a long period of time. They did it without Kevin Durant. They've now won this entire, they swept the Blazers without KD. They won they ended up finishing up Houston without KD.
But I would argue, Jenna, they didn't, it's not like, they still have the same, at times, lack of sense of urgency. They were down 17 in games 2, 3, and 4. What they were able to do is hit you with that avalanche, and it felt like the Blazers saw it coming and didn't know how to stop it.
I don't think we give the Warriors benefit of the doubt that every time someone gets out to a lead on them, they're not engaged. They're not into the game. What about people have caught up to their system? Also, they're professionals. They play well. But every time that they're behind, the Warriors, because they have all this talent. No, this is professional sports. Other people being paid a lot of money to be able to figure it out. I think because they've been so great that we don't even give them the benefit of the doubt that you could get off to a poor start. But man, they're a great collection of talent. I believe it's supported by the organization, and they have a system. And that culture, that culture is real, and I just believe it's always chemistry is underrated. It's underrated all the time in sports, and that's what we saw, especially this latest edition when Boogie went out, with KD being out.
All right, let's move on to Kevin Durant. Chris Broussard wondered if this was KD's worst nightmare coming true. He tweeted, if Warriors win a title without KD, does that diminish his 2 rings? Well, Kevin Durant responded saying, I see a little exaggeration there, buddy. My worst nightmare? You sure that this is the worst that it can get? And then when a fan called him sensitive, Durant said, you're right. Let me chill before my sensitivity flares up. See, what do you make of all of this?
Yeah. You're a real one, too, Gemma.
I thought somebody else would jump in there. I misfired on that one earlier.
This is the thing. And as far as Kevin Durant, Chris Broussard, what he was saying, if you take it literally, yeah, of course it's not the worst thing, because the worst thing could happen was Kevin Durant, the MRI said that he tore part of his Achilles. And then the Warriors go on to not only finish out those last 14 minutes in game number 5 against the Rockets, and then they finish out game number 6, and then they go on to sweep the Trailblazers, and then they go on to sweep whoever comes out of it. That's the worst thing. And then he goes into free agency being like, should I stay? I got a torn Achilles. Like, what should I do? That's the worst thing. So I do understand that. But your business succeeding with you not being there is never a good thing, especially if people start to question, no matter what business it is, are we better? But I thought he was the best at doing that. I don't care if it's accounting. I don't care if it's teaching. I don't care if it's math. I don't care what it is. And Kevin Durant is one of the best basketball players in the world and was playing as the best basketball player when he went down. And the Warriors went on to function at a higher level. That can't make Kevin Durant. I'm human, and I know it's a human condition. We all want to be loved and are accepted and appreciated. And how can you be appreciated playing 39 minutes, dropping 34 points, and the team goes on to play better?
I love you too. If I all of a sudden, I do, I really do. There's no but. However, if I were to all of a sudden catch Jenna's pneumonia, and I'm kidding, not this year. Jen's been very healthy, and I miss 2 weeks of shows. I don't want the show to fall apart. I want you guys to function. But what I don't want is to check the ratings and say, wait, they went up?
Of course.
You know what I mean? I just zip it.
Chris has more freedom.
Right, okay.
You're human. It is the human condition.
Just get a normal human being, not some weirdo up in here.
All right, well,
let's go.
That's why I don't get sick. I'm not going to let him run that experiment. The point is, if we're being honest, Durant wanted them to beat the Blazers.
Yeah.
Do you think he wanted them to sweep them? Do you think he wanted it to be this easy? Do you think he really wanted all of a sudden, Durant was averaging 35 a game. Since he'd gone down, Steph averaging 36. And there is, all of a sudden, it's like, wait, now they're what? They're 34-4 when Steph plays and he doesn't?
Remember OKC when he left there? It seemed like Russ got a little bit better. Remember that commentary?
Of course, but you know what would have hurt him?
Yes.
Would have been if they would have won at the same level. Russ's numbers got better out in the first round every single year. Listen, Kevin Durant clapping back at people on social media. He's just decided if he was ever going to learn his lesson on that, it would have been with the burner accounts. It's how he wants to live his life. It's totally his right. But it's, to me, more noteworthy about what Broussard said, which is, yeah, of course he wants the team to succeed, but have a little adversity. Here's I will lay it out real quick before the show ends. The worst case scenario for Kevin Durant is he gets cleared this week, and they're on the road in game 1 of the finals, which they will be against Toronto or Milwaukee.
Yep.
They would probably be an underdog against Milwaukee. Be totally reasonable for them to lose game 1 of the finals as a road underdog. And then all of a sudden the narrative is, wait, They didn't lose a game. They were 5-3 when your amazing 39-5-5 streak. Yeah. Undefeated without you. You come back and they lose. That's the worst nightmare stuff we're